Can on-demand AI and virtual reality tools help the caregivers of the future be more empathetic and more effective in their care? These are the topics that I get into this week with Oli Siska, founder and CEO of Kaleidoscope XR. Oli uses deep tech to solve gaps in caregiver education, and she's using tools like VR and AI chat to scale the impact and accessibility of caregiver education. Imagine what was once a high stakes, expensive exam that was only given once a year transforms into an AI tutor that helps you learn progressively and gives you the opportunity to practice 24/7. Similarly, a VR team training in Caregiver VR allows students to experience the confusing and distracting symptoms of a dementia patient. This gives them real life experience and empathy with patients in a way that a theoretical practicum never could. And it allows the students to move in and out of the different roles and observe all in a shared virtual space, giving the educator total control and giving students an unparalleled ability to really understand what their patients are going through. I think you'll enjoy this conversation with Oli Siska of Kaleidoscope XR on the Tech Glow Up. Here we go. You ready?
Right.
Awesome. Hello and welcome to the Tech Glow Up. I'm Nathan C. And today I'm talking with the co-founder and CEO of Kaleidoscope XR, Oli Siska. Oli, it's so great to talk with you today. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Amazing. Let's just jump right in. And could you please introduce yourself and the work that you do in XR and innovation at Kaleidoscope XR?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Oli Siska, and I'm the CEO. And Kaleidoscope XR builds applications in VR, virtual reality, augmented reality, and artificial applications. We like to specialize in the medical field, but we build custom solutions in any area.
Awesome. Can you maybe use one of the projects that you've built or one of the things that you've done in VR to dive more about how you use VR technologies to help folks working in the healthcare and medical space?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the solutions that we build is called Caregiver VR, and it's a multi-user platform. So up to 20 students can go into a classroom with an instructor where they're going to be debriefed about best practices, say on dementia. And so say responsive behaviors, like today we'll cover wandering and how do we deal with that particular issue. And then the instructor can assign roles. So they can assign a caregiver and a resident. And then they would role play like a standardized patient scenario where the instructor is trying to, or the caregiver is trying to get a task accomplished. Meanwhile, the resident is having issues with it. But one of the amazing things that VR does that you could not accomplish any other way is we're able to trigger symptoms of dementia like auditory hallucinations and visual hallucinations. So while you're going through this exercise of trying to accomplish a task, the person who's playing the resident is the only one who can hear and see and have all the stimulation going on while they're trying to get through this, simulating what it might be like to have dementia.
I love that. And thank you for that explanation. I think it's really crucial for both understanding the training and like why a VR training would be so much more impactful, could be so much easier to develop that empathy with somebody experiencing dementia without actually having to experience or suffer from dementia. I love that application as a way to use VR to just to build empathy, to help see and understand a situation that normally you don't get to come back from typically. Gorgeous. You've also mentioned that you work on intelligent applications. I think I know what that means, but could you describe a little bit what you're doing in the realm of intelligence?
Absolutely. Another amazing tool out there right now, and most people are probably familiar with AI in terms of ChatGPT. They're using it in their everyday. And a couple of years ago, it was a scary space. And now everybody has seen, wow, this can really streamline my work. So we have built an application called OSCI AI Pro. And that stands for Objective Structured Tests that doctors, nurses, anybody, any medical professional going into the field have to take. It's a practical exam, and the way it works, it's very expensive to administer. You have a doctor behind a one-way mirror. You have to hire an actor to play the patient. You got to train them. And then the medical student goes in, has 10 minutes to diagnose, have a conversation, deal with that patient, and they go to the next station. Very, very expensive, hard to administer. So most universities provide 1 to 2 opportunities a year for a student to practice this, which is scary because we should really give our future doctors the most opportunities we can. So we came up with an AI tool where you can go in, you select the case, say, you want to do a patient shows up with chest pain. And then you proceed to have a conversation. The AI speaks back to you, avatar patient, and you have a conversation trying to do the same thing, diagnose, management plan, whatever is specific to that case that is highlighted as in this is what you're trying to do. So it gives them the opportunity to practice 24/7, anytime, anywhere, and get more of that contact, conversational contact.
Is this like a downloadable app? Is it a web VR? How do people engage and use it?
So it is a web platform. It works on any device because it's a web platform. So you could do it on your phone, on the computer. You don't have to download anything. You log in and pick your case, and then you go. Very simple.
Amazing. Really taking this like very crucial knowledge set, these diagnostic skills that any future practitioner is going to need to have, and taking a lot of that pressure off by allowing them to practice, to revisit cases, to engage it sounds like in a similar format as that actual test would be without having to wait 6 months or a
Yes.
year to get access to the content. Amazing. And are these, at what level is this like clinical education? Is this for like pre-med? Is this doctors? Where is that?
So
Wait.
it's for all levels,
Mhm.
pre-med cases, and then there's specialty cases as well. So if you're already in your specialty, you're a doctor, and now you're going into a residency for a specific specialty, you can find cases on that as well.
Again, so we can get a new session started. That'll pop up here in a second. We're rolling. All right. Okay. All right, Ollie. VR role playing and AI medical education are relatively new kinds of fields and applications. What got you started exploring these kind of high tech ways to connect and communicate? What's your origin as an innovation founder?
Pure accident, how some things in life go. So I was working in the nonprofit sector and had spent about 25 years there. And I put it out there to the universe that I was looking to do something else, that I needed a change in my life. And I came across a VR headset in a company, and we were talking about a project, and I thought, what is this? And the day I put on that headset changed my life. I thought I could see the practical applications. I could see how much social good it could do. I could see the potential for empathy. And that was it. There was just no stopping me at that point. This is what I wanted to do.
That's a big jump. This is totally a sidebar question, so you can pass if you'd like to. Moving from nonprofits and very mission-based work into working with deep technologies, was there any learning curve or adjustment period in just like how to get things done or your role as a founder? I'm curious, how was that like transitioning between those two worlds?
Yeah, I would say there was a lot of transferable skills, but there was also a big learning curve on how the technology responds. What are the limitations? What are the exciting things it can do? And so that was really big. And the funniest part of it is I first went and I got a job in a VR company because I thought you don't just go open a company when you don't know what you're talking about. So got a job in a VR company, and a week into the job, we all got sent home because COVID started. So here I am. I need the training. I need to know what's going on. And I get isolated at home without the knowledge base. So I had to get very clever and get schooled really fast just into what is going on. How does this work?
That that is very much like the classic VR hero's journey and like that moment of inspiration, that aha, and then that immediate trough of disillusionment about
Yeah.
where is this integrated? Who's got a headset? How do we use it? But what a fantastic place and organization to really start to understand how you could apply VR technology for training, for education, for remote collaboration. It sounds like you might have had to, for lack of, eat your own sandwich a little bit, really learn by doing and making, which is always powerful.
Absolutely. And I think that's what made the transition easier because anything I do in life has to have some social good in it. That's what attracted me to nonprofit to begin with. And seeing that potential in the VR technology, it was like, hey, I can still continue the mission work. I can still make sure that there are positive things happening in the world. I'm just choosing a different vehicle from being in a nonprofit. I'm just choosing a different tool to express that. And now I'm actually able to reach way more people.
Okay, let's talk about that because I don't know that this idea that, hey, using deep technology, using face worn computers, VR, I don't know that everyone out there, I guess if you're listening to the tech glow up, you might be, but would necessarily agree that like a new technology is an easy way to reach more people. How do you use VR to like reach people? And then maybe even more importantly, like how do you learn, understand, and measure that impact that was so important to you when you're in these new realms, maybe sometimes making a first of its kind experience or application?
Yeah, so the the Caregiver VR that I mentioned before actually the concept came out of COVID because there was a lot of long-term care industries that needed to train people and they had a trainer running from one location to the other location to the other location. And it's again not very cost effective. So now what we can do is we can put them in a headset with a simple technology. We can put them in a headset. They can be anywhere in the world. So their trainees can be at 3 different locations. They put them together. So in terms of being able to expand your outreach, it's really big. In terms of going to OSCI AI Pro, it's available on any device. So anybody can participate. And again, you can be anywhere in the world. So if you're in the Philippines, you're looking to be a nurse in Canada, you can start training.
I love that. Yeah. A technology that takes away like the barriers of time and space that allows a very experienced. I had a friend who was an executive trainer and she spent like 200 days a year traveling to all of these different offices and right. And to give that busy executive a few days of her time traveling back could be substantial. So empower those really vital players on your team to reach more people quicker with fewer barriers. Love it. When you're introducing VR to people, asking people to move into a new modality for training or learning or collaborating, were there any like surprising resistance to the tech or surprising like rapid excitement about it as you rolled out and tested with your client?
I would say there's both elements are there. In terms of excitement, I absolutely love, and it's one of my favorite things to do, to take somebody who's never experienced VR and to put him in a headset for the first time because all you hear is, oh, wow. And then you tell them to look around. You've got a 360 view, don't look forward. And then they start looking around the room and they're like, I am in a room. It's absolute magic. The resistance happens usually from people who haven't tried it, so they really cannot visualize what the potential of this is. And it's the visualization that is really difficult to convey until you've tried. There's resistance on this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. And it's the same old story. This is how we've always done it. So we don't really want to try something new. But once somebody goes in that headset, the aha moment happens.
Yeah. You got to try it. Seeing is believing. And right, like you mentioned at the beginning, so often, like one of the things that I think hooks people when you get into this space is like when you see somebody real, like almost in real time, see the matrix like washing over them and all of the ideas that gets you going. I even just thinking about it, it lit me up a little bit. I love it. Ollie, as a founder, especially as one working in the edges of technology, I'd love to hear how you like to learn about and adapt and respond to opportunities, both with your customers and your market. How do you make sure that you're building the right thing for the right people?
Yeah, so when we worked on OSCI or we worked on Caregiver, we work with subject matter experts. So it's actually all the content is coming from the experts. They're telling us what they need. We are not going out there and telling them what they need. And I think that's the number one mistake any company can make. They think they have a brilliant idea. We all do it personally. If there only was an app for this, and then if we build it, everybody would want it. Until you do your market research and until you talk to the content creators, the industry itself, they'll tell you what you need. You don't need to guess at it. And in order to stay ahead, the company's job or my job is to find out what's the capability of the tools because we're just a means to get their message out. We are not the message, we're the tools. But I have to understand how far can we push the tool? Can it do what you're visualizing? How difficult is it going to be? Is it going to be costly or is this a simple thing? So that's where I am constantly trying new tools. I'm constantly trying to break them to see how far they can go. And so I am the hammer of the AI. And so you got to do that. And the other source is employees. Have those conversations. What are you doing? What are you doing personally? What are you playing with? What do you see? And really listen to those messages because you can't be everywhere at once as one person. But when you put a collective brain together, all of a sudden, you know what limitations you can push on that tool and how you can build things better.
So you brought up this topic that like anybody who spent time building in XR or like working with a client on a cutting edge project is bound to encounter, right? Step one, inspire them with the possibilities of the new technology. Step two, validate what is actually possible. Step three, get that client to agree or you're right to see the value of the V1, that today's technology is going to allow. I'm curious, how do you approach those conversations? How do you not overwhelm a client, a stakeholder, while also setting real expectations around capabilities and budgets?
Yeah, and ultimately, a company really the first question they have is ROI, return on investment. This is going to cost me money up front. What am I going to get back? Fortunately, there is a tool, especially when applied to training, that actually saves people a lot of money. It standardizes their training, so there's not two sets of information going out there, and it allows you to do it anytime. So you don't have to wait for a cohort of 20 people. If it's a single user experience, you can just say, Walmart's doing it right now. They have a VR training that they have invested in, and somebody goes to apply to be a new customer service rep. Here's the headset, go in the back. We'll see you in 3 hours. And they can do it anytime. They don't have to have a cohort anymore where you're missing 3 people and everybody shows up at 10:05 instead of 10. So it really streamlines it. So I think the numbers really help. And I think the other thing, the trick of that conversation is really getting them to experience it. Because again, until you get that experience, they're not necessarily understanding how powerful the tool that is and that your employee is going to retain 7 times more information in a VR headset than they are if you're just talking at them.
Oh, love the stat. Thanks for that. I was starting in the background, right? To think around this idea of there's a kitchen sink tendency with building like a new VR app. Oh, we're going to throw in everything, including the kitchen sink. What if the kitchen sink was, you could move the handles and there was water? And you're like, but we're in a medical training, folks, right? And this idea that you're retaining 7 times more information, right, doesn't necessarily mean that you need to put 7 times more information into the experience in order for it to be educational, but that the focus and the agency and the clarity that you're giving them in the tool allows you to kind of do less, but with way more focus. You called out 3 things on the value of VR training that I think any stakeholder would absolutely adore. The first one is access, anybody, every time, anytime. The second is consistency, right? Like you get that control over the content, you get that same presentation. It's way easier to have a computer do the same simulation or an AI chat do a simulation over and over again than it is your seatmate. And that, the third one I absolutely lost. Access, consistency, access control. Oh my gosh, we're going to have to cut that part out.
The ROI.
I was diving in, I was trying to tag something and I lost my thread. I think we'll just cut that part out. Ollie, this is my favorite part of the tech glow up, right? The show really is built around this idea of great ideas happen because you have bold plans. The show is called The Tech Glow Up. A glow up is a notable transformation or a rebirth. I use it to talk about goals. What's the glow up that you're looking to make for Kaleidoscope XR and OSCI AI Pro?
Yeah, so we noticed. So again, your customer base will let you know where you should go, and your subject matter experts will let you know where to go. And OSCI AI Pro has started as a medical training tool, but where we found another gap was in the long-term care industry. So all the frontline healthcare aides that don't have access to enough training. Again, they're getting into, say, dementia and responsive behaviors, and they can get themselves into trouble without that proper training. So what we started to do is putting cases in that are not necessarily for the doctor, but that are also for the healthcare aide. And how do I deal with a person that is having a moment today, right? And needs that extra help. So what I would love to see is that tool starting to really take off this year. And especially in that industry, we have some legislation changes that are coming up in February that's going to regulate healthcare aides. And so now we're to certifications and we're onto a whole new ball game. So I would love to be able to help that industry have better trained workers. And that leads to worker satisfaction. The more they control they have over their day, the better it is for everyone. And so because those resources are so limited, I would love to see an uptake of that to actually change patient care in the end.
In that long-term space is so
Yeah.
crucial, right? Those are folks who don't have time, they don't have resources, and it's people's parents and grandparents and folks you want to take care of. Oh, I love it. Always with a mission. I so adore it. Thank you for that. Similar, Ollie, getting into the problem space of being a founder, being a an innovator. If you had a magic wand that you could wave to remove one blocker that's in the way of your team and this glow up, what would you wave your magic wand and fix tomorrow?
I think it's the general fear people have over new technologies. And it's any new technology that comes along. Just a few decades ago, computers were a new thing, and it was going to be the thing that blows everybody up, and it was dangerous. And where's this going? And now we can't, if you don't have a computer, you're not participating in society. That's how ingrained it is. And so if there's one thing that I could remove, yep, cell phones as well. It's crazy how fast this stuff moves. And so if there's one thing I could remove, it would be that fear. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. We're absolutely going through a technology revolution, but try and find the excitement of that and don't hone into one little piece. Try and explore it. If you're into music, there are music AIs. If you are into video, there are video AIs. There's just play with it. Play with it.
Yeah, gotta, in that world where you gotta see it to believe it, wouldn't it be nice if everybody had already seen or had that aha moment? I love it. Ollie, I know from talking to hundreds of CEOs and go-to-market leaders that the impact of a mentor, a coach, even sometimes like a friend or family member who sees your vision and says, I believe you, keep going, can just be transformational in the journey of a company and a new technology. How have how have your mentors, coaches, and guides helped you on the way to where you are today?
They have been fundamental, not just in terms of helping me figure out company things, but they have been in fact, I belong to a mentorship group through an organization called BMSA. And we meet about once a month and I set the agenda. And that's what they really help me. It's not about let us help you market this product. It's about you as a leader. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to work on? And to me, ultimately, it starts right there. Like we can talk about marketing a product till the cows come home, but if you don't have the right leadership in mind, if you don't have the right vision, if you don't have the proper self-reflection, you're probably going to fall flat.
I'm not going to dare tag that and risk messing up that eloquent point. Thank you so much. Ollie, I can't believe it, but we've made it to the speed round. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. If there's one takeaway that you want our listeners to walk away from this conversation with in one sentence, what is it?
Try it.
2 words. 2 words. I love it. Okay. I'm also a little bit of a sidebar. I'm a bit of a nerd about strategic planning. So I'm curious where just at the beginning of January 26, where is your strategic brain? Where are you thinking and scheming and planning?
Yeah, we're thinking quarters and quarters ahead. So I'm already thinking into the fall. We have a strategic roadmap to the product, to the company, and really have to be thinking quite forward of, okay, so these are the next 10 things we got to accomplish till the fall, but then what are we doing after that? And in this industry, usually when you're building products, you absolutely have to think ahead because by the time you build something, the technology has already changed. It's moving so fast that you better be looking to see what's coming next and how you can improve it. And so that you build your product in an open way so that you don't get caught with your pants down 6 months from now going, this no longer works because we built ourselves into a corner.
That advice is golden, right? Don't build a 9-month partnership, building new tools and launching new things, right? If those partners only have 6 months of budget, there's so much out there. You got to be ready for the future, but also, I love that that kind of indicates ship more, learn faster, adapt quicker, right? Rather than perfect. We are no longer in the age of sitting in our offices perfecting the software for the yearly launch, right? We got to be out there reacting and learning in real time.
Absolutely. Future proofing. Future proofing is what it's about.
Yep. Totally optional, but I have enjoyed asking people if they have a spicy soundbite to share on tech, culture, innovation, or otherwise. Do you have a spicy hot take?
I think one of the most exciting things that happened just tail end of last year is people are probably familiar with a program called Sora, which is an AI program, and it generates video. This is scary for a lot of people because now you can take an avatar of yourself and put it in. Sora 2 is now in beta, and so I was able to get a copy, and it is phenomenal how much that technology is coming along. Video is lagging behind everything else because it's usually a frame by frame analysis. And that is, if you can imagine, that's really processing heavy. So most of us don't have the equipment at home to handle anything beyond 10, 15 seconds of a generation. But when you look at the potential of that, you can see that maybe 10 years from now, maybe quicker, you'll have enough processing power and the technology is going to be there where you're going to be able to make a movie by yourself on the base. And that opens things up for all kinds of artists, sort of like new Spotify has opened up music and other things. Now you're going to be able to generate a whole movie, write your own script, no more Hollywood. And here we go. I can now be an independent filmmaker. So that's really exciting to watch that development. And I know, again, there's a lot of fear about fake news, about fakes out there. But you know what? That's why we have AI to detect the fakes.
Love it. Soon we'll all be cinematic movie prompters. I love it. Ollie, last one is pretty simple. How can people follow up and learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us at kaleidoscopeXR.ca, or you can email us at info@kaleidoscopexr.ca.
Amazing. Oli Siska, co-founder and CEO of Kaleidoscope XR, really a mission-driven founder who's driven to make an impact in the lives of people who need support, whether that's caregivers for people suffering from dementia or the future of our healthcare professionals who need better access to great training and practice with some of the most important skills out there. Ollie, your enthusiastic, creative, and ROI focused love of these tools is absolutely catching, and I can't wait to see what you do next at Kaleidoscope XR. Thanks for joining me on the Tech Glow Up.
Thank you very much for having me, and it's been great.
And hey, can I ask you a favor? If you really enjoyed this episode, could you share it on your Instagram stories or maybe post the link with what you enjoyed on LinkedIn? This sort of sharing and engaging really helps small podcasters like me reach the audience that I know really cares about these kinds of conversations. If you've made it this far in the podcast, I really appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Please make sure to like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode of the Tech Glow Up. And hey, can I ask you a favor? If you really enjoyed this episode, could you share it on your Instagram stories or maybe post the link with what you enjoyed on LinkedIn? This sort of sharing and engaging really helps small podcasters like me reach the audience that I know really cares about these kinds of conversations.